Hello everyone, really great to be with you again today. And today, well, it might seem initially that I'm going to go a little bit off piste, as it were, or rather off book, and talk about quarries and stones, and Jesus and you and I. But the aim is to hopefully link it with what we've been doing in this book. So let's have a go, shall we? Let's begin our rocky journey. So, one of the things when I put stuff together, I'm not really sure about the order. So let's give it a go with this and hope it works. So let's begin with 1 Peter 2 verses 4 and 5. It says this: "As you come to him, the living stone, rejected by humans but chosen by God and precious to him, you also, like living stones, are being built into a spiritual house to be a holy priesthood, offering spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ." So we, you and I, we are the temple of God, the place where God chooses to make his dwelling. Yeah, God in you and I by his Spirit. God is amongst us. He is Emmanuel, here, now, and there, where you are. And Jesus Christ is this cornerstone of the temple. And Peter goes on to tell us more about this in the letter, but I'm not going to really talk about that too much. He is the stone that all other stones are aligned to ensure that the building is perfectly built. One of the great things about the construction of the temple is that we can read about it in the Bible. Some of the details may seem maybe a little boring and you might want to skim through them, but actually there's a huge amount of symbolism in it. And we're going to look at just one of these verses. Now this is found in 1 Kings chapter 6 and verse 7. So that's 1 Kings 6 verse 7. And, excuse me. And it says this: "In building the temple, only blocks dressed at the quarry were used, and no hammer, chisel, or any other iron tool was heard at the temple while it was being built." So these stones were prepared off-site, away from the main structural presentation. Oh, that noise, that's Millie. She's crying a bit. She's having a phantom pregnancy at the moment and it's causing her a bit of stress. And actually me is causing me a bit of stress as well. Anyway, so these stones were prepared off-site, away from the main structural presentation. Their shaping happened in the quarry where they would be gradually chipped away until a perfect shape for the architect and builder was made, so they can make good use of it in the correct place. You see, only when these stones were fully formed as intended would it be carefully transported and then put in the right place at the right time. You see, we are undergoing that shaping by God, aren't we? So that we are useful to him. We might be a bit rough around the edges, so those bits need chipping off, but they're done in the quarry. See, Christ himself underwent this same shaping process through his time in the wilderness when tempted by Satan, away from the crowds in the desert. All this stuff is done often through the difficult circumstances we faced, away from people often when we're on our own. Who are we when we're on our own? Isaiah 51 verses 1 to 3 says this: "Listen to me, you who pursue righteousness and who seek the Lord. Look to the rock from which you were cut and to the quarry from which you were hewn. Look to Abraham your father and to Sarah who gave you birth. When I called him, he was only one man, and I blessed him and made him many. The Lord will surely comfort Zion and will look with compassion on all her ruins. He will make her deserts like Eden, her wastelands like the garden of the Lord. Joy and gladness will be found in her, thanksgiving and the sound of singing. As part of our reading in Tim Chester's book, we looked at God's promise through Abraham and following it through the generations to Jesus. And he is the rock. He was the rock that was struck by Moses and mentioned in that story, wasn't he? You remember that? And it's a reminder today just to look to the Lord. You see, we're called to be able to chip off the old block, as it were. But the process of being formed and shaped by God is not always pleasant. Yet through Christ, the one man, many have been blessed, and through him there is joy and gladness. So this Advent, let's remember who we are, where we've come from, and the joy and gladness that is ours through Christ, our rock, our cornerstone, and our King, the one who himself went through that shaping process. And indeed, we're still going through it now, aren't we, in the situation that we're in. But God has good things for us. May we put our trust in him and look to him. Have a great day today, and may you be richly blessed in all you do. Bye for now.